All right, perfect. We are recording now. Well, welcome everybody. This is the State of Choice. You are in the right place, but we have one of our friends here, Heather Thompson, with the Realtor Giving Network. Wanted to give her just a couple of minutes. I'm sure many of you, or most of you, or all of you have heard her speak before about the work she does with the Realtor Giving Network and how our community of realtors can give back to our communities. This is the nonprofit arm of our local association. And so I'm happy to give her a few minutes here to kind of share what they're doing, what they're working on, and opportunities to engage for those of you that are looking for that. We get that question a lot to us about what are the opportunities? How do we get engaged? Are there things we can do at Choice? How we can kind of take our size and footprint here in the community and do more good. And this is a natural way to do that. So, Heather, I want to turn it over to you here. Yeah, the floor is yours.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And we're lucky to have Kitsy on our board. She's 100 miles an hour, as you all know. And so it's been great to engage her and happy to be here with you all today. So I am Heather Thompson, the very proud Vice President of the Realtor Giving Network, and I have been in this job for 10 years. So let me tell you, notoriously, nonprofit burnout is 5 years, 10 years. So I think that says a lot about the joy in being able to work with realtors and helping neighbors in need. But first of all, I want to let you know what the needs are. And when I went to McDonald's and got my half and half tea this morning, the nice lady who checked me out, I guarantee you she didn't make $33.90 an hour. That is what it takes to afford a fair market two-bedroom apartment in our market. And unfortunately, 6,000 Wake County public school children did experience homelessness this past year. That means maybe they were in a homeless shelter, maybe they were living in a hotel, or they were couch surfing. So again, those are the needs that we are being able to meet through this, your Realtor Giving Network. And what exactly do? We harness the collective giving power of realtors and our partners, and we help nonprofits move unhoused neighbors into safe and affordable housing. What I love about this is every year we pick 2 or 3 housing nonprofits to support. We feel like the more we can give, the deeper we can dig into those nonprofits. We can help them more. So this year, Hope Center at Poland, we're helping foster teens have a better chance to move safely into adulthood. The Women's Center, we're helping them with homeless women. They have 100 women go to that shelter every single day and have breakfast and lunch, access to showers, and being able to move into stable housing. The Caring Place, they help working families. They give them access to transitional housing for 4 months. And then what is our fundraising goal for the year? That's important to know. 280,000. Happy to report we're up to 190. So what does that mean? That means realtors are looking to the network as a place to not only give their money, but give their time to volunteer. And what does that money go to? It goes to grants for those nonprofits. Window AC units. This summer it's already been crazy hot. You'll hear more about that in a minute. And it also goes to hygiene kits for homeless individuals. So I've heard that realtors really are into pickleball. If you're not, you have until December 4th to learn how to play, okay? And I have a feeling that Choice is going to have a court there that day. So you all are going to be there playing. We did it last year, super, super fun. So what exactly has the Realtor Network done and what impact has it made? We've helped furnish 130 homes. That means families transitioning from homelessness. They're moving into apartment, guys. There's no pod coming with them. There's no furniture. So we've gone into those spaces, furnished it top to bottom. I'm talking pots and pans, sheets, artwork on the wall, just a chance to give them the hope and dignity they deserve and a fresh start. Invested $1.8 million back into the community, again, all in the name of realtors, and supplied 410 seniors who were living in homes without AC with free window AC units. Here you can just see some realtors in action furnishing these homes. And again, delivering window AC units. So opportunities for you all. You all are in your car all the time. So if you would like to deliver a window AC unit, all you have to do is sign up for it. You'll come to the association, pick it up. We give you the address of the recipient, and let me promise you, it is a rewarding experience. You get to meet the individual one-on-one that you are providing immediate relief to. We have already delivered so far 44 units, and we have lots more seniors on the waiting list. Okay, Realtor Give Back Day. We had one in May. It was so successful. We have another one scheduled for August 14th. I'd love to have some choice agents come out. After this talk, I'm going to send Brian an email with a link, give choice the first chance to register before anybody else does. Okay, that's a big opportunity there. 10 to noon or noon to 3. So again, y'all scan this QR code. That will give you a chance to sign up. And once we do know a recipient in need, you'll get an email letting you know that there is an opportunity. There are other opportunities to volunteer as well too. So once we find out from nonprofits that there are needs in the community, you all will know about them first when you scan that QR code. But I'll also put it in the email as well. So another super easy way that you can give back on your dues billing that comes out in November, there is a box that is checked. It's $25 and it's an opt-out. So please do consider keeping that box checked. It's $25. That donation goes directly to RGN. If every single RAR member, and now proud to say that we're up to 10,000 members, if every single one of those did it, we'd be at 250,000, which is huge. It'd be an automatic way that we could help nonprofits. Think about becoming a monthly giver. A lot of times your clients for closing gifts, you may have already maxed out on some ways to those bottles of wine or the cheese and crackers or the Lowe's gift card. Think of another way to give your clients meaningful gifts. And a perfect way to do it is an automatic gift and becoming a monthly giver. And you can see here on the screen the ways that those gifts would be helpful to individuals. $450, 6 neighbors might get a portable heater in the winter. And again, what I love about this is I will mail you these cards. You can send them to your clients. I know, crazy thinking about getting something in the mail. I know. But you can also write a cute little note on the bottom. And again, this is a way that work is already being done for you. Also, too, if you do want to have it tailored to choice, we can have it done in Canva, Brian, and I can send that to you. And so it can be tailored to your brokerage. Again, there's the QR code for monthly giving if you are interested in joining that program. And I know all of you all are intentional about keeping the clients that you've had and doing with your CRMs. Think about it in ways that you might have touch points with them. So something might be fun, like let's say first day of summer, June 21st, you send out a postcard to your clients. You might say, hey, in honor of our past relationship, I have donated an AC unit to a neighbor in need. Just an easy way for a creative way to reach out to them. It's a $200 donation that you've made. You've helped a neighbor in need. National Housing Day, November 22nd, donate $75 for a portable heater. So again, it's just some fun ways that, again, you're helping a neighbor in need, but you're also doing a creative touch point to some clients. Okay, so right now we have a huge campaign going on for Cool for Wake. We have a $10,000 fundraising goal. We're already at $8,000 for these AC units. So scan the QR code here. If you want to make a big difference, you can make a $25 donation up to $200. It all helps us with the growing demand. Right now, we have 20 seniors on the waiting list for these AC units, and we really want to be able to get those out because, again, it's crazy, crazy hot. And that wraps up what I have for you all today. But really, what I love again about my job is that every day I get to work with realtors to help our neighbors in need. And like you all do with your clients in rapid speed, I love every time I put out an appeal, a realtor calls me within 24 hours and we've done good work together. So I look forward to working with Choice and doing more good together. And thank you for the opportunity this morning.
Awesome. Thank you, Heather. Thank you for helping us start off our Thursday and our state of choice on a positive note. And we look forward to getting engaged and helping out.
All right. All right. Take good care, Warriors. Carry
All
on.
right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that was awesome. Thank you, Heather, for that. And let's go ahead and jump in and get into the next part of the program today, the state of choice. So this is a fun thing that we started a couple of years ago or a few years ago now. It's an opportunity. I'm guilty in my role, and I was guilty as an agent of not stopping to smell the roses sometimes, not stopping and reflecting about how far I've come as an agent or how far we've come as a company. So this is an opportunity for us to pause, take a look at, for those of you who maybe haven't been with us as long, even for those who have been, to kind of reflect back on the changes, what we've done, what we've accomplished, where we are today, what we're currently working on, and kind of what our view of the future is and where we're headed. So um, before I jump into all of that, I just want to give everybody kind of a refresher of who the humans are that make this place so special. So, of course, it's all of our agents, but there is an amazing leadership team here who works really hard every day showing up to put the agent support and agent value at the center of everything we do. So, of course, you know who I am. Kate Stedman, she was the first hire I ever made after starting Choice. Kelly was with us before that. But Kate's role has evolved a lot since she first came on. Everybody at Choice knows that we don't recruit, right? We focus on making Choice really great so that it attracts people and it makes our agents want to send other people to us. But when I first hired Kate, actually half of her job was to recruit, believe it or not. So she wrote a new agent curriculum for us. She taught that. Her role was called Director of Agent Development, and she was actually recruiting. We had like a list of people she was supposed to call. And I don't know, a few weeks into it or a month into it, we sat down and we were like, oh my gosh, this is not who we are. This is not what we want to be doing. And we nixed that really quickly and we continued on with our true identity. But I just think that's fun about Kate, a story that I'll share quickly. And I won't share these detailed stories about everybody. I'll be here all day on this slide. But when I hired Kate, for those of you that don't know the story, she was getting ready to move to Austin, Texas, where she now lives. And I said, I know you're feeling drawn to move to go be with Dan, her longtime significant other. I said, but man, I just think you're so talented, and I want to work with you. And like, I would love it if you worked at Choice. Not in an agent capacity, but like worked for Choice. I said, but I don't know what exactly you're going to do, and I don't know how I'm going to pay you. But what do you think? And she was like, yeah, that sounds good. Let's do that. And so we just figured it out from there, and just a great indication that she, it just sees the world the way that I do and that we do. And it's been great. And she's wonderful. So she's our VP of operations. I'm going to jump over to Kelly, since I already mentioned Kelly. Kelly, I hired when I was an agent. She worked with me for a couple of years before I started Choice. Just imagine, I hired her in a moment of desperation. I had sold 48 houses the year before and needed help, and she came on. Didn't have time to train her properly or anything, but she stuck with me. Then all of a sudden, I'm starting a brokerage and getting out of production, and she stuck with me. So she's just been through all the evolutions, every technology, every platform, every process we've ever had. She's had her fingers on and had to deal with like the changes that have gone on. So what a trooper. She's been with us since before the beginning. Ashley Denny, she was the first agent we ever hired. I always tell people nobody can answer a question as closely to the way I would as Ashley does. So she's our managing broker. You know her. She's the one that is helping you through the transaction and broker challenges that sometimes you have. Julie Fielding, she's our agent services specialist, and also what I affectionately call the room mom for our Apex office. So she keeps things running smoothly there and helps our agents as they're transitioning to Choice to make sure they're up and running, up to speed, and have whatever boots on the ground support they need to keep their business running smoothly. And then Katie Morgan, there aren't many brokerages that would hire someone literally just to manage. A huge part of what she does is manage all of the in-person stuff that we do at Choice, whether that's training or the amazing events that we do that we put on. If you're newer to Choice and haven't experienced any of our events, you will see very quickly why we speak so highly of Katie at every opportunity that we have. She's incredibly talented. We are so lucky to have her. And so this entire team, I mean, if I had a nickel for every time one of you agents came back to just compliment some member of our team, I would be a wealthy man. They are amazing. They are what makes Choice great and the culture great, and give us an infrastructure so that agents at Choice can enjoy the brokerage and the community here. So thank you to everybody, leadership team and staff. I want to read our mission statement, but first I just want to say that for a long time, I actually resisted having a written mission statement because I felt like it's just words on paper, that what mattered was how we show up every day, how we live, what our actions are. That is what was important. not some written mission statement that a company just has framed on a wall and doesn't mean anything. Over time, I came around to the idea that it is important for us to articulate what that mission statement is. It is a way for people to see in a snapshot what we're all about, what we stand for. And if somebody wants to believe that it's just words on a paper, fine. But go talk to any of our people. Like that is what matters. But it is also important that we articulate that. So I'll just read it here quickly. To attract the best agents in the industry, creating a collaborative brokerage ecosystem in which agents achieve increased revenue and quality of life through our 100% commission model. We are dedicated to providing expert and relevant training, cutting edge technology, and superior broker support to empower our agents to serve their communities and families at the highest level. Our growth shall always be for the benefit of our agents and shall support our current and future efforts to be the best real estate brokerage for all agents. There is a reason why our growth shall always be for the benefit of our agents, that is in bold. And what you may know is that so much about choice is the result of the experiences I had as an agent. I built the brokerage through the lens of, if I'm an agent at this company, what would I find value in? And I make the assumption, I make the leap that if I would find value in it, then most other agents would too. Well, part of the experiences I had as an agent was being at a brokerage where, when it was smaller, it felt like we had great value. When it grew, it actually felt like the value was less, even though the brokerage was larger and had more revenue coming in. And I could never understand that. I would have open conversations about that and could never come around to why that was. And so it's always been intentional for us as choice grows, that growth means more value back to our agents. There is a reason why, even though we are much larger today than we were 8 years ago, that a lot of our agents would say that it feels like being at a boutique brokerage. And that's because growth isn't for the sake of growth. Growth means something to the value that we can put back into our agents. And I'll talk more about that later, but just wanted you guys to have seen this mission statement. Know that it does exist. If you ever want to frame it and put it on your wall, go for it. I'll show you at the end of this what I have framed on my wall. Just a quick snapshot of our growth. On the left-hand side, you see these photos. This was at our awards night 2 years ago. It was an interesting event trying to do it. We were trying to have agents by year. So whatever year you joined, you came into the group, and the picture kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It was a fun little social media exercise there. But anyway, we ended the first year. We started in May of 2018, ended the first year with 12 agents. That grew 400%, wow, to 48 agents. And then we kind of just, we grew some over the years. It was really in 2024 that we kind of started to hit our stride. We went from 124 to 203 agents, 257 agents at the end of 2025, and 294 year to date. That number, of course, changes. It fluctuates day to day. So I try not to get too stuck on any specific number. More on kind of what growth means to us and how we look at that shortly. But just wanted you to see those numbers. Let's look at the timeline of our milestones. This is always fun for me. This is part of the reflecting back, taking a moment to say, how far have we come? Not how far do we have yet to go, but how far have we come? So I officially started the company in May 2018. We hired our first agent, who was Ashley Denny, like I mentioned, in June 2018. So I quietly opened the brokerage in May of 2018. Quick little story here. I didn't realize back then. So when I started the company, I was at Keller Williams, my previous company, and I created the brokerage and got it licensed. So any of you that have your own entity, you go get it licensed with the real estate commission. It did not dawn on me that my broker in charge, who was a buddy of mine, was going to get a notice in the mail saying that Brian is now affiliated with this Choice Residential, who of course nobody had ever heard of. It, only existed in my mind. Fortunately, he got that notice and thought, oh, well, Brian must just be, that's like the new name of his team or something. He's building a team and that's what it's called. So he didn't even ever say anything to me about it until I eventually, he found out that I was leaving and starting this company. And then he said, oh, now it makes sense. But anyway, I almost let the cat out of the bag too early because I didn't realize what happened when I affiliated with that new firm. So we are very intentional about how we onboard and help agents transition. A key element on why I often have a good answer for you when you call, or why we do a good job of onboarding outside of just our team is amazing, is that I have screwed up so many times over the course of my career. So all of my missteps that I've learned from become knowledge that I can impart upon all of you. That that slip up with my own transition is part of that learning process for me. All right, funny thing. So November 2018, I bought the Raleigh office condo and we renovated that. If you ever want to see pictures of that, they're probably on Facebook somewhere, but we actually have a book at the Raleigh office that shows the process of the renovation, what it looked like before, and what it was like in process. But if you remember back, we had 12 agents at the end of 2018. Somehow I thought it was a good choice to like make a purchase of an office space when we had probably in November had like 8 or 10 agents. Fortunately, it all worked out. So here we are. But sometimes you just have to lean into what you believe in. And that's, what I've always done. So in January 2019, so for the first 6, 7 months of the life of the business, we tried multiple different transaction platforms, right? At first, actually, we didn't even provide one. My foolish thought was, oh, agents can just use whatever they want. Well, that doesn't make sense. So we rolled out Zip Forms and DocuSign, and then we went to some other platform, and there was went to SkySlope, and then we went to another platform, and eventually the agents were like, "All right, what are we doing here? Can we just please use Loop?" And so, in typical fashion for me, I'm not going to stand in the way of what agents want to do. I had never used Loop. I had negative connotations about Loop personally. But I said, you know what, agents want it, let's do it. And of course, now I love it, and it's wonderful, and I'm glad we use it. But that was driven by agent demand. July 2019, we rolled out KVCORE, which is now BoldTrail. It's the same product, just rebranded BoldTrail. But we didn't have a CRM or website that we provided to agents originally. And I said, okay, well, let's give them an offering. I'll buy the seats at scale so that it's cheaper. It would cost you $300 to get it by yourself. But I offered it for, I don't know, maybe $30. I don't remember what it was back then. If you wanted it. So we said, okay, agents, if you want to have that piece of technology, you can just pay a small fee for it. That was how we did it. July 2019, that same month, I started the daily videos. So the videos that you get most weeks, occasionally there's some other things going on in our world and they don't get out. But most weeks you get the daily videos. And those started back in 2019 as an effort for me to stay in front of you. I recognized back then that as we were inevitably going to grow, I couldn't hang out in the office with every agent every day. But I wanted to still be present. I wanted to be with you. I wanted to be a part of your kind of daily real estate life. And this was one of the ways that I sought to do that. And it has continued on today. September 2021, we made a change and just started including KVCORE / BoldTrail for all agents. As hopefully everybody kind of realizes, I don't like to nickel and dime anybody. I don't like to be nickel and dimed. There are certain things we have to charge for, but I decided to just make that a company expense in September 21. Again, that was not at the request of agents. It was just aligned with what I felt was the right thing to do. Can't believe it has been what is it? Coming up on 5 years that Kate has been working with us, but that was it, December 2021. That's when I had that like really terrible sales pitch to her about, I don't know if I can pay you and I don't know what you're going to do, but what do you think? And she started with us as the director of agent development, now is our VP of operations. In March of 2022, we hit 100 agents. Great milestone. I mean, you think about it, there aren't very many brokerages in the entire country that have 100 agents. So like having 100 agents is actually a really big milestone. And so that was cool. We hit that in March of 2022. The very first weekend wrap-up call was actually in April of 2022. So again, one of the most popular and I think impactful things that we do is that weekend wrap-up call on Mondays. So that's been 4 years that we've been doing those. In October of 2023, Kate convinced me, thank you, Kate, that hiring a VA was like a really good idea, that VAs are really talented. We hired Alexis Mendoza. So she's coming up on 3 years with us. You guys really don't interact with her much. She does a lot of marketing stuff for us on the back end for the brokerage. But Alexis is this brilliant person. She graduated from college when she was 19 years old. She's worked for Fortune 500 companies. She's a super talented person. We're excited and thankful to have her and that she's stuck with us for 3 years. So April 2024, that was the first time we ever paid out $1 million in 1 month in agent commissions. So crazy to think, literally the agents at the company made $1 million in 1 month. Super cool. So that took us 6 years. almost 6 years to get to paying out $1 million. So remember that. August 2024, we opened up the Apex office. We actually announced that on the State of Choice call 2 years ago, and that we were opening that. So we opened that in August 2024. Again, one of the most impactful like moments in time for Choice was opening that office. The next month, we brought Julie Fielding on. She was at that time the Apex ambassador. That was another situation where I kind of said, I don't know exactly what I need, but I know I need something. And of course, anybody that knows Julie knows that she is just through and through one of us. She was a Choice agent before Choice ever existed. She lives and breathes as the embodiment of what Choice is all about. So she is our agent services specialist now. So again, she helps agents with the transition, among other things. We hit 200 agents in November 2024. So another cool milestone there. We hired Katie, who I mentioned before, in November of 2024. A lot happening there. You know, opening the Apex office was a catalyst for a lot of stuff. I didn't realize that was going to happen, but that's what happened. So brought Katie on, and she's amazing. Brought Ashley on in January of 2025. So she's been in that role as a managing broker for about a year and a half. And a lot of people don't know, I was talking to her about that role, I don't know, at least 6 months, maybe a year before we actually brought her on. That is a recurring theme that I always try to stay ahead of what our needs are going to be. That is, especially as it pertains to our staff and our human capital. That is a tough thing to do, but I hope agents, everybody here who's growing a business will listen to that. It's kind of one of those things like, hear me now, believe me later kind of thing. It is critically important to be hiring ahead of your needs. It is tough because you're spending money before you absolutely need that thing, but you have to have the belief that you are going to need it, and you don't want to be scrambling. The one time I didn't do it was with Kelly when I was an agent. I was in panic mode. Fortunately, as Choice, we have always been able to kind of hire as I would see that, okay, we're going to need help in this particular arena. And that was another example of really planning ahead with Ashley, and it's been great having her. Really been changing. We again, all these things, we couldn't have the type of growth and support that we have if it isn't for having all these talented people. March 2025, just another example. It was a recognition. Kelly used to actually review all of your paperwork. So if you joined us after March 20 or before or after March 2025, you've never known anything but seeing Cecilia's name in dot loop reviewing your paperwork. Kelly used to review all of it. It's funny that in the very beginning, I used to review paperwork. And then I gave some of it to Kelly, and then I gave all of it to Kelly, and then eventually we gave it all to Cecilia, which is important because, as you're going to see here in a second, in April 2025, we closed 100 units in 1 month for the first time. That's a lot of files to review. Okay. So, fortunately, we have a full-time person to do that now. And we're getting close, by the way, to having 200 closings in a month. So, rapidly growing that transaction count, which is awesome. A lot happened in January of this year, which is we rolled out Choice Signature Staging and we introduced Choice AI. Both of those are going to be, I think, when we look back in history, when I'm doing this State of Choice a few years from now, both of those things will prove to be kind of really trajectory changing things for Choice. Choice Signature Staging is already such a big hit, and I will continue to softly serve you Choice AI and continue to get you guys plugged in and playing with that because I think it will be a vital part of how we continue to grow and what your business looks like in the years to come. So more on kind of technology and stuff later. May, we paid out over 2 million for the first time in commissions. Again, just wild to think about that kind of money being paid out. You guys are doing great. And then if you read ahead, you see here, Apex office is expanding. So the Apex office is open for business as usual, but you might notice there is a space across the hall. That space across the hall is 3.5 times the footprint that we have now. I will tell you, this was a difficult thing for me to come around on because Apex was a satellite office for us, meaning by the nature of a satellite office, it's smaller, it's just an extra space. Well, now it's going to be about 60% larger than our Raleigh office. But the reality is, since I opened it, clearly anybody that uses that space, agents are drawn to that space. It's in downtown Apex. It's in this really cool tobacco and mule exchange building. And it just felt right to me. This is how I make decisions on what I think feels right. it's 3.5 times the space, which means it's also 3.5 times the rent. That was the only pause I had to think about. But agents are obviously going to love that space. There's more we can do with it in terms of space for training. There will be multiple conference room areas. There'll be some opportunities for some private offices for agents, and so some stuff that I think the agents in Southwest Wake are really going to be excited about. And, maybe that will lead to even more talented agents coming and contributing to Choice. So super pumped about that. By the way, quickly, I'm glad I just remembered this. It says August 2026. Please do not hold my feet to the fire on that. We are experiencing some delays getting access to the space in order to make it ours. We've got to buy furniture. We're going to have to do some cosmetic stuff. We've got to add a wall here or there. We got to do some things. I would be in my mind planning for October. If we can get you in there in September, great. I would be planning for October, but just know the current office space is still available that entire time. All right. We're in the home stretch here. Let me talk about what we're working on at Choice. So we talked about the Apex office expansion. We are continuing to expand Choice Signature Staging. Now, just a quick note on that. Some of you may be like, I don't even know what that is. Well, we rolled it out. We announced it in January, and then we did not say anything else about it. So unless you joined after January, everybody that joins, we talk about it as part of the onboarding experience. But we have intentionally not actually been pushing it out to everybody because it has just been such a big hit. And Stacy, who, if you don't know, is my wife, she's the one that runs Choice Staging. We have a warehouse. She has, I think she has like 12 or 14 houses staged right now. That is that many houses worth of furniture. This is full house staging that she's doing. And so she's already maxing out capacity at the warehouse. We are already looking for more warehouse space. So we are working on expanding that. The hope is by Q1 of next year to have our own in-house moving team. So certainly more on that. We're really appreciative of kind of the way that has been supported here in the first 6 months of that. But more on that as that expands. And I'm sure when we get additional warehouse space, maybe we'll do some kind of grand opening and do more to put that in front of you. But so that expansion is happening. We're also talking about more client events. So most agents are surprised when we tell them that we do 2 client events a year that you can invite your clients to, and it doesn't cost you anything. That seems ridiculous that a transaction fee brokerage would do that, but it is something that we are passionate about on how do we always give more value. We will be surveying our agents towards the end of this year. Part of that survey will be what kind of things would you like to see and would you be willing to pay for? Because the events we do have to be scalable. We are looking at what other kind of events could happen that have a per attendee cost. And when that's the case, the agents have to participate financially. So we'll be talking about what are those things. And that comes from feedback from agents, by the way. A lot of you, when you join, you're like, hey, if you guys would organize this, like, yes, I would pay for my clients to come. Great. We're happy to organize it. So we are continuing to look at ways to expand on that. And then the intentional improvements, not changing for the sake of changing, just means everything focuses or comes through the filter of does it add value or not. We don't want to nobody likes change. We don't want to make changes just for the heck of it. But when there are changes or things that we do differently, it's for a reason. We have thought through it from 360 degrees and believe it adds value to our agents. I'm going to leapfrog over to technology and innovation real quick. And then I'm going to go down to, I'll start with BrokerBot. A lot of you are starting to plug into that. I do think that will become kind of a central point of the brokerage. It is the most powerful real estate technology I've ever seen by far. The way they leverage the AI LLM models, it's a super cool thing, and they've just scratched the surface as far as where they're going. So again, I know it's a new technology, but it is so innovative that we are trying to put that in front of you in a more intentional way than any other piece of technology we've ever rolled out. The Choice Hub is something we've been working on in the background. I say I'm going to give 99.9% of the credit to Kate Stedman. The only reason I get 0.1% of the credit is because I write the check to get these things done. Kate has been relentlessly working on creating or documenting our processes and our SOPs so that we can create what we're calling the Choice Hub for our agents. This is a custom proprietary back office system that is going to take everything into one place. So one of the pain points for agents for as long as I've been in the business is there's just 1,000 different tabs I have to have open, right? There's so many different platforms for everything. Some of that is just going to be the way it is. Like we want certain platforms to be the expert in that thing, and trying to recreate it, we would be subpar, and we don't want to be subpar. So if they're the best, we're going to leverage them. But how do we bring all of the things that you might use into one house, one place, one login, so that you log in here and that automatically logs you in there, and you can access that other thing right in this platform we've built. So we are working on that. Within the next couple of months, we should have our, I'm going to say, final version, but it's really just our first version, because thanks to AI technology with coding now, we will continue to, even when we roll this out to you officially, we will continue to make it better. We're going to have a built-in feedback loop so that agents can provide real-time suggestions to us on how we can continue to improve it. This is the first time in history when the end user, the person who understands the way the user wants the product to be, this is the first time in history that that person can actually create the technology. That is a game changer. If you talk to any technology person who's built anything, you know there's this disconnect between the end user and the engineers in the room building it, because they have their way they believe it needs to be done, and they're always there's friction there. That's been removed, because now the people that know how it needs to work are the same ones building it, and that's really exciting. In reality, of course, I'm going to have to hire additional people. They're going to have to manage this technology that we now own. It is an entire process, but that's one of the big things we're working on right now. Quickly, just on partnerships and relationships, I'm not going to dwell on this. I'll just say our strategic partnerships are so important to us. I would much rather create revenue for the brokerage that doesn't come out of your pockets, right? Our commitment is highest value, lowest cost possible to you. Not just say, hey, you get what you pay for here. It's you get 50x what you pay for. That's the goal, right? The reality is that anything we do that provides value takes money in most situations, right? Because even if it's a human that is just responding or wishing you happy birthday or whatever, that takes a person who's being paid a salary to do that. So we need money in order to do the great things we want to do for our agents. And when we have partnerships like Sterling Law, for example, and Passage Title, we're very transparent that when you work with Sterling Law, yes, that creates revenue for us. We will never try to force anybody to work with any of our partners. The base level commitment from our partnerships is that they have to be great at what they do. And if they are, then okay, is there a symbiotic relationship that we can have that creates revenue for Choice, so that Choice can continue to do more things for our agents? So that's what the partnerships and relationships we have. That's why they're there. This new vendor program we had in 2026, when you support our partners or our vendors, that is in a very direct way supporting Choice. So just throwing that out there for everybody. The culture and leadership. Your job is to go out and sell houses. There's a lot of motion and noise in our industry right now, and I hope that none of you even know what any of that is, because that's not your job. Your job is to work with your clients every day, to work with your database. So that's what I want you doing. My job is to continue to stay plugged into what's happening in the industry. That's why I'm on the board of directors for Dorify. I will continue to be involved with what's happening in the industry, and then bring back to you whatever information I think is relevant to you and your business. So just know that I'm continuing to focus on that as well. And then we're going to always staff leadership, lead by example. Two big things here: net life over net worth. Of course, money matters. There's great things you can do with money, but what you really need to be chasing, what I always talk about internally, and what I talk about with you, is having joy in your life. Leading a fulfilled life is more important than any transaction, any amount of money. That's the way I lead this company. It's the way I think about our P&L, is about net life over net worth. And part of that is creating leverage and balance in your life. I will always prefer to hire talented people to do things rather than me having to do that thing. I think it's better for all involved by just bringing on leverage. And then having balance is important. If you've ever tried to call me at 10 o'clock at night, guess what? You probably didn't get me, because it's 10 o'clock at night. I have kids. I have a life. I have a wife. I have other things I do. Ashley has 2 young children and a life. She's right now volunteering at Vacation Bible School, right? Like, we all have things that we do as well. And so we try to lead by example, saying, like, we are here to support you, just like you're here to support, you're there to support your clients. But that doesn't mean you're available 24/7. Like, we want to empower you and give you permission to set up guardrails in your life and your business and have that balance. So we are going to continue trying to lead by example in that way. and encouraging you to do that in your businesses as well. All right. So one of the things I've always said is that I don't have a monopoly on good ideas. And that is true for everybody that works at Choice. So we don't want to stand on us being the ones that provide value. We have so many talented people at Choice. This is one of the great things about growing is that we have almost 300 agents. There's a lot of talented people that have really strong skill sets. So we love being able to bring those people in to teach and support and train our agents in different ways. We also have a great reputation in the industry. So often, really talented people want to come in and talk to Choice agents. So we have a great ability and platform to bring in talented speakers. And then we have great coaches. Carrie Waite, who maybe some of you don't know, she runs Catalyst Coaching, which is our new agent and underperforming agent coaching group. So we have really talented people around us. We will continue focusing on bringing in talented people to support, provide training, and education and professional development for you. And when you as agents have something that you're passionate about and you want to be able to leverage Choice's platform, bring it to us. We are happy to bring you guys in to do different trainings, workshops, and share your expertise. All right, I'm going to just quickly talk about our view on growth. Here's the deal. I will always encourage you and tell you it's almost critical that you set some kind of production goal for, each kind of upcoming year. I think that's a moment in time thing you should do each year. That being said, your production is on a rolling 12-month basis. It doesn't start in January and end in December. So it is healthy for you to look at it always. There's always 12 months ahead and always 12 months behind, no matter what day of the year you're talking about. But for Choice, it is critically so your business as an agent is a little bit different. You do need to have something that makes sense for you in terms of a production goal. Now, we always encourage there needs to be a reason for that. Please don't set arbitrary goals. That is actually can be very toxic. But setting an intentional growth goal for it as an agent or production goal is important. But as a brokerage, we literally do not set a growth goal. We do not say, hey, at the end of 2026, we'd like to have this many agents or do this many units or do this much in production. We don't have that at all. And that is very intentional because our job is to just show up and make Choice the best brokerage. And if we do that, the rest we hope should take care of itself. However, that being said, growth is not bad for us. And so I just want to touch on what growth does mean. And again, if you've been here from the beginning, you know how much more value you get today than you did back then. The same will hold true when we have 400 agents, 500 agents, 1,000 agents, whatever it might grow to be. But as we expand, you all of a sudden have access to agents across the state. That has value in a ton of different ways. There would be offices across the region or state. That, of course, if you do happen to go work in Greensboro and we have an office in Greensboro, well, that would be nice to be able to meet your client there. So having access to more offices, whether they're in the triangle or across the state, of course, not a bad thing. That happens with growth. More leverage with the partners I talked about. One of the reasons why we have these partner relationships is if you sell 4 houses a year, it's kind of hard to have any kind of leverage or power with any vendor because even if 4 houses is what you want to sell, that's great, but it's just not, it doesn't move the needle for their business. But if they partner with Choice, all the business they get from Choice, that moves the needle. And that means every agent at Choice gets priority, regardless of their production, just by virtue of being with Choice. So we want to be able to create leverage with these partners that then benefits you and ultimately benefits your clients. And then more infrastructure. So as we grow, that has allowed us to focus on this proprietary Choice Hub, right? So we build something like that or other tools, it is absolutely going to have a tangible impact on your business, saving you time in any number of ways. So as we grow, we can create more of that human capital, the technology, the office locations, all the stuff that encompasses, the ambiguous infrastructure. And again, everything's on the table. All we want to do is figure out how to provide more value to Choice, whatever that looks like. The way other brokerages do things doesn't matter because we do things our way and it's all about you. And then hopefully more fun, more parties, bigger parties, more opportunities to engage and hang out with each other. So that's kind of how we look at growth. But no matter how we grow, we always intend to honor who we are as a company. And That's who we were when we had 10 agents, and it's who we'll be when we have 10,000 agents. It doesn't matter. Time with me. So part of creating leverage is so that I'm not doing everything to run the company, so that I can be present with our agents. This shows up in things like the coffee with Brian, the picnic, the parade of homes, the holiday parties, the happy hours, all the stuff that we do. I'm very intentional about trying to spend more time with you guys, the agents. I've been saying for several years now internally, we talk about the leaders are meant to be with their people. That's what I want to do. I don't want to just be behind a closed door all the time. I want to be out there with you guys. We've from day one have always operated on the principle that the way it has always been is not an acceptable explanation for why we do something in a particular way. What used to work doesn't matter for what should work today. And our promise to you is to always look at it that way. We're not going to be inefficient by always trying to change everything all the time, but we will never accept that, oh, this is the way we've always done it. If I ever say that to you, you should slap me in the face and say, give me a better explanation, Brian, as to why we do it this way today. Hopefully, I never say that to you, though. The growth through attraction. Look, this is the best way I can visualize this is with this kind of statement. If you keep sharing our story, then we promise to keep writing better and better chapters for you at Choice. So the point there is, as long as we can show up every day and just focus on choice and making choice better, literally every day figuring out how do we make choice better for our agents. If that can be our sole focus, then we don't ever have to recruit. We don't ever have to worry about the rest of it because you, our agents, love being at Choice and are willing to share that story with other agents. Then whatever growth happens, happens. And we are fine with that. And we will commit to continue being better for you. So, again, I cannot stress enough more agents is not a bad thing. You get on a Monday call and you know that the collective wealth of knowledge is important, that agents sharing all of their experiences is critical. Their experiences become your experiences, regardless of what your experience level is as an agent. So that collective wealth of knowledge is cannot be overstated how important that is. And then we will always have our doors open. The best ideas we do, many of you know this, like our awards night, which is one of the favorite things that we do at Choice, came from the idea from some of our top agents. I would have originally or eventually come around to it. I don't know, but we need that feedback. There are times where I just have tunnel vision, right? And we always want to encourage that feedback from our agents. That's how we continue to be better for you, not better for me, not better for Kate or Kelly or anybody else. How do we become better for our agents? And it's you telling us. All right, last thing is this is what is framed up on my wall, not our mission statement. But if you ever come into the office in Raleigh, you can see right over now, it's Kelly's desk. You can see right over Kelly's shoulder. You can have everything you want in life if you'll just help enough other people get what they want. We live by that principle at Choice. Whatever will happen for us will happen based on our actions to help you achieve the life that you want to live, that you want to have. So that's what we live by. And guys and gals, I don't know why I say guys because 95% of you are ladies at Choice. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I have for you today. If anybody does have questions, I am happy to share. I'm an open book. All right, so I'm going to stop the recording.